Terminator 2, Judgment Day came out in 1991 and changed action movies forever. The film packed over 20 different firearms into its runtime, and today we're breaking down every single one of them. If you love action movie breakdowns, hit subscribe and stick around because this one gets wild. Let's start with shotguns, because they dominate some of the most memorable scenes in this movie. The Winchester Model 1887 is probably the gun you remember most from this film. John Browning designed it back in 1886 for Winchester Repeating Arms, and it became the first successful repeating shotgun ever made. The company produced it from 1887 all the way to 1901, building around 64,855 units total. This lever-action beast weighs about 8 pounds, stretches 39 inches in overall length, and holds 5 rounds plus 1 in the chamber through its tubular magazine. The original design chambered black powder 10 and 12 gauge shells, which limited its power compared to modern smokeless powder loads. But here's the part most people miss. In the movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 grabs a sawed-off 10-gauge version from a biker bar owner. He uses it throughout the Freightliner truck chase and the mental hospital escape sequence. That famous flip cock move where he spins the gun with one hand required some serious modifications. The prop team added a large lever loop and reinforced the metal, because real 1887s absolutely cannot handle that kind of one-handed operation. Standard lever loops are too small for gloved hands, and the leverage required to cycle the action would break your wrist if you tried it for real. The film version fires 7 or 8 rounds in some scenes, even though the actual magazine only holds 5. They achieved this through a technique called hot loading, where the armorer quickly reloads between takes or camera cuts. The production used 3 different props, including a rubber stunt version for safety during physical action sequences. Winchester actually made a successor called the 1901 that could handle smokeless powder, but they only built around 13,500 of those before pump actions took over the market entirely. Did you notice this detail on your first watch? The Remington 870 shows up as Sarah Connor's weapon of choice during the steel mill finale. Remington Arms introduced this pump-action shotgun in 1950 as a replacement for their expensive Model 31, and it became the best-selling shotgun in history, with over 11 million units sold by 2009. The design features dual action bars for smooth cycling, a locking bolt for safety, and parts that swap with the semi-automatic 1100 model. It weighs between 7 and 8 pounds, ranges from 26 to 50 inches in length depending on configuration, and accepts 12, 16, 20, or 28 gauge ammunition plus 410 bore. Magazine capacity runs from 3+1 up to 7+1 rounds depending on tube length. Linda Hamilton wields a folding stock version that she grabs from a SWAT van during the escape. She loads a slug and blasts the T-1000 toward that molten steel pit, pumping round after round until the gun runs empty. Hamilton trained extensively for this role and fired blanks without flinching, which takes real discipline because blank rounds still produce significant muzzle blast. The military has used various 870 configurations in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and police departments worldwide still carry them today. Special variants like the Marine Magnum feature nickel plating and corrosion-resistant finishes for maritime operations. Now, this is where things get crazy. The Mossberg 590 appears in the hands of Enrique at his compound and with a SWAT officer firing at the escaping van. O.F. Mossberg & Sons has produced this military-grade variant of the 500 series since 1975. It features a bayonet lug and heat shield that distinguish it from civilian models, weighs between 5.5 to 7.5 pounds, and holds 6 to 9 rounds depending on configuration. The U.S. military uses it primarily for breaching operations where soldiers blast door hinges and locks with specialized breaching rounds. Several other shotguns make brief appearances throughout the film. The high standard K1200 riot standard gets carried by the T-800 from the Desert Armory. The franchise SPAS-12 shows up in surveillance footage from the first Terminator movie during the police station assault sequence. Its successor, the franchise SPAS-15, arms a future resistance soldier in the war scenes. Standard Remington 870s appear with LAPD officers outside Cyberdyne, and the Ithaca Model 37 Deerslayer Police Special, with its rifle sights and riot barrel, also shows up in police hands. The Ithaca dates back to 1937 and features bottom ejection, which makes it work equally well for left or right-handed shooters since shells eject downward instead of to the side. Which of these shotguns is your favorite? Now we move to handguns because they drive some of the most intense chase sequences in the movie. The custom hybrid pistol that Sarah Connor and the T-800 use combines a Colt Series 70 slide with a Detonic Scoremaster frame. Fans call it the Coltonics. The prop team chambered it in 9mm because real 1911 pattern pistols have trouble cycling blanks in 45 ACP. The blank rounds lack the recoil impulse to operate the slide reliably. John Browning designed the original Colt 1911 back in 1911, and it served the U.S. military through both world wars and beyond. Standard specs include 45 ACP ammunition, single-action operation, a 5-inch barrel, and 8+1 capacity. Detonic started in the 1970s and pioneered compact 1911 designs like the Combat Master with its 3¼ inch barrel and bushingless barrel system. They also developed innovative features like multiple recoil springs to manage the physics of a shorter slide. Sarah fires this hybrid at the T-1000 from the hospital roof, and the T-800 uses it to wound SWAT officers at Cyberdyne. Auction records show prop serial numbers like CRM2227. And here's the fun part. The Beretta 92 FS serves as the T-1000's primary sidearm throughout the film. Beretta designed it in 1975, and the U.S. military adopted it as the M9 in 1985 after extensive testing against competitors. Specifications include 9x19mm parabellum ammunition, short recoil operation with a falling block locking system, a 15-round magazine, 217mm length, 950-gram weight, and an effective range of 50 meters. Over 30 militaries around the world use this pistol, including forces deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan. During the mall chase sequence, Robert Patrick's T-1000 fires around 21 shots from what should be a 15-round magazine. He trained to shoot ambidextrously for the role, which required months of practice, and the prop featured a left-handed magazine release for his dominant hand. Do you think Hollywood exaggerated this gun? Sarah Connor attempts to assassinate Miles Dyson with a Detonic Speedmaster, a custom 45 ACP with an extended barrel and barrel weight to reduce muzzle flip. It resembles the Combat Master but runs longer and features Patchmere rubber grips for better control. The Browning High Power appears when the T-1000 disguises himself as a hospital guard. This classic design from 1935 fires 9mm and holds 13+1 rounds, making it one of the first true high-capacity service pistols. A nickel-finished M1911A1 with pearl grips belongs to a mental hospital guard who gets kneecapped by the T-800. Cyberdyne Lobby Security carries nickel-plated Taurus PT-99 AFS pistols, which are essentially Brazilian-manufactured clones of the Beretta 92 with adjustable sights. And this is where the movie goes full insanity. Grenade launchers bring the explosive action in two key sequences. The M79, nicknamed the Thumper by soldiers who carried it, gets used by the T-800 to blast open doors at Cyberdyne and later to destroy a tanker truck. The U.S. military developed this break-action launcher in the 1950s for Vietnam, where infantry needed portable indirect fire capability. It fires 40mm grenades, weighs 2.7 kilograms empty, measures 73 centimeters long, and has an effective range of 350 meters for area targets. Over 350,000 units were built. In reality, 40mm grenades need to travel a certain distance before their fuses arm themselves, usually around 15 to 30 meters depending on the round type. Firing point blank like in the movie would actually produce a dud that fails to explode. The film takes some creative liberty there for dramatic effect. Realistic or pure movie magic? What do you think? The MM-1 appears as a rubber prop that fires gas grenades at Cyberdyne before the T-800 loads it with CS gas rounds. This rotary launcher holds 12 40mm rounds in a revolving cylinder, but weighs a hefty 5.7 kilograms empty and even more when loaded, making it impractical for the run-and-gun scenes where it appears. Real operators mount these on vehicles or use them from fixed positions. Quick question for you. If you were in the movie being chased by the T-1000, which of these weapons looked the coolest on screen? Drop your answer in the comments. Rifles and carbines fill out the tactical arsenal. Sarah Connor uses Colt Car 15 variants chambered in 5.56mm NATO during chase sequences. These compact rifles sacrificed some velocity from their shorter barrels, but offered better handling inside vehicles and buildings. The Colt Model 653 with a 16-inch barrel appears suppressed and equipped with an ACOG sight and laser designator when Sarah attempts the Dyson hit. The film shows it firing full auto even though the selector position indicates semi-automatic mode, a continuity error that eagle-eyed viewers catch. Surveillance footage from the first film shows the Armalite AR-18, the rifle the original Terminator used in the police station massacre. Future war sequences feature the Muzzleite MZ-14, a bullpup conversion kit that wraps around an M14 action and relocates the trigger forward of the magazine. This configuration shortens overall length while maintaining the full barrel, which made it look appropriately futuristic for 1991. The Desert Armory scene displays AKM and M16A1 rifles among the weapons cache. Submachine guns add to the SWAT team authenticity. The Heckler & Koch MP5K and converted HK-94 carbines appear with SWAT officers and with the T-1000 during the helicopter pursuit sequence. The HK-94 is a civilian semi-automatic version that requires conversion to simulate full auto fire with blanks, which armorers accomplish through modified trigger groups. Watch for the classic HK slap reload technique where operators smack the charging handle to release it. John Connor picks up a MAC-10 during the armory scene, the compact .45 ACP machine pistol that became infamous in 1980s action films and crime stories. What happens next is legendary. The M134 minigun delivers the film's biggest firepower moment. General Electric developed this rotary machine gun in 1960 for Vietnam helicopter gunships where door gunners needed sustained suppressive fire. It fires 7.62 by 51mm NATO ammunition, weighs 85 pounds without mounting hardware or ammunition, spins at 6,000 rounds per minute through its 6 rotating barrels, and has an effective range of 1,000 meters. Dillon Aero improved the design in 2003 with better feed mechanisms and reliability upgrades. The prop in Terminator 2 came from the Predator movie and was modified to fire at a reduced 1,250 rounds per minute. Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 uses it to shred police cars outside Cyberdyne without killing anyone. In reality, no human could fire this weapon handheld regardless of strength. The weight, recoil, and ammunition feed requirements absolutely demand vehicle or aircraft mounting. Each round produces significant recoil, and at thousands of rounds per minute, the cumulative force would knock anyone off their feet. The film version used a carefully hidden support rig connected to a harness under Arnold's costume, and the ammunition belt ran through his leg to a container on the ground. Did you know about this behind-the-scenes trick? The Desert Armory also displays a Browning M2 HB heavy machine gun and M60 general purpose machine gun, both iconic American military weapons that have served since World War II and Vietnam, respectively. Future war sequences introduce fictional and modified weapons designed to look appropriately dystopian. The Endo battle rifle the Terminator endoskeletons carry is built on a Calico Liberty 100 base, a real 9mm carbine with a 100-round helical magazine mounted on top. The unusual magazine design gave it a sci-fi appearance perfect for killer robots. The General Dynamics RBS-80 is a fictional creation that combines elements of Vickers and Browning machine guns for that post-apocalyptic military aesthetic. A FM-43 red-eye surface-to-air missile launcher appears in resistance fighter hands during the future battle, and M72 Law rocket tubes sit in the present-day armory scenes. And here's the fun part. The production team under James Cameron prioritized practical effects over computer graphics for the firearms. Every gun fired real blanks with carefully controlled loads. The armorers modified weapons for reliability during extended shooting days and created rubber stunt versions for physical action sequences where actors might fall or collide. This commitment to practical effects gives the gunfights a weight and visual impact that CGI muzzle flashes simply cannot replicate. You see real brass ejecting, real smoke, and real recoil reactions from the actors. The Winchester 1887 Flipcock became so iconic that it influenced video games like Call of Duty and later films like The Expendables. The minigun scene established a template for overwhelming firepower moments in action cinema that filmmakers still reference today. Sarah Connor's shotgun work in the steel mill showed that female action heroes could handle heavy weapons with the same intensity as their male counterparts, influencing countless action films that followed. Every weapon choice in Terminator 2 serves the story and characters. The T-800's lever action shotgun connects him to Western movie traditions and classic American gun culture imagery. Sarah's pump shotgun evolution from victim to warrior reflects her transformation across both films. The T-1000's police issue Beretta reinforces his disguise as a law enforcement officer and makes him blend in with legitimate cops until he starts doing impossible things. The military hardware in future scenes sells the apocalyptic scale of the war against the machines. The film walks a careful line with its firearms content. Characters use guns for protection against an unstoppable technological threat, and the T-800 specifically avoids killing humans throughout the movie on John Connor's orders. This framing lets the action sequences deliver excitement without glorifying violence for its own sake. So which gun from T2 is your favorite movie gun? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more iconic movie arsenals broken down, check out our video on the guns of heat right here. Thanks for watching Real Caliber. See you in the next video.